So before I begin, I would like you to see this image and observe it for a few seconds. So what did you see? An animal probably. How many of you thought it to be a rabbit? Please raise your hands. Now, how many of you thought it to be a duck? So, did you just realize there's a whole different perspective to the same thing? What might have been duck for you could have been a rabbit for someone else. Many times, it happens with most of us, where you think that you are right and the other person is wrong. What actually happens is that we simply haven't discovered the perspective of the other person. As someone very rightly said, 3 plus 2 is 5, and so is 4 plus 1. Just because you are right doesn't mean someone else is wrong. So, here I am, talking to you about why do we think we are always right? From what perspective we see things? What influences us is the side we want to see. Let's take a basketball match for example. If referee says you've got a foul, you'd probably try to find 100 reasons why he's wrong. But on the other hand, if the opposite team gave a foul, yeah, that's awesome. That's what you would feel, right? So this is what is termed as motivated reasoning, where the decisions we make are biased. We make these decisions on the basis of what situation we are in when we analyze the evidence. And therefore, we reach to a conclusion that is biased and one-sided. So in this situation, we find information that either confirms or disconfirms a particular belief. So people actually seek out information that confirms what they already know, and this way, they never add anything new to their knowledge. Let me give you an example to make it simpler for you. So if I feel that mobile phones are bad because they are very addictive, no matter how hard my friends tries to convince me, I won't be convinced because that doesn't confirm my belief. On the other hand, if someone else comes and tells me even more bad things about mobile phone, chances are I would believe him or her because that confirms what I already believe. The next thing I want to share about is, in society today, the most important thing has become to be right. As a student, our motto has been to give the correct answer whenever something is asked in the class. And the ones who don't know the answer start losing their self-confidence because they feel they are wrong, while the ones who knows the answer start feeling that they know everything, and it only boosts the ego. We need to change this feeling of being right or wrong. Now, if we see from the point of view of a student who is not confident, he would only lose more and more self-confidence, and he is not going to add anything new to his knowledge. And this would be the same for the ones who feel that they are always right. Let me give you an example for the same. I have an image here which I would like you to observe for a few seconds. Basically, in this image, there are 6 blind men who are touching 6 different parts of elephant. All of them have different answers to what the object is. One person touches the leg and claims it to be a trunk, while another touches the tail and claims it to be a rope. They are not looking the object as a whole. They are only limited to one part of the elephant, and therefore they are not able to come up with the conclusion of what the object is. So it's not important to be right or wrong. Sharing is important. Expressing your views to everyone is important. We need to change our mindset. Just like in elephant's example, if all 6 men shared what they felt, they might have been able to crack the name of the object. This brings us to the third point, that is soldier mindset versus scout mindset. As the word itself says, soldier mindset is to think like a soldier, while a scout mindset is to think like a scout. A scout in simple Gujarati would be a jasoos. For a moment, imagine you are a soldier in a battlefield. What would your job be? Probably to defeat the enemies and protect yourself and your side. Now imagine yourself as a scout. What would your job be? Probably to go ahead of the main force, so as to gather information about the enemy's position, strength, and movement. Above all, a scout's job is to gather information as accurately as possible. In real, both these jobs are equally important, but you can think of them as two different mindsets. Soldier mindset is thinking like a soldier, and it is somewhat similar to motivated reasoning, where you shape the way you interpret information. Some ideas, desires are like allies, and we want their victory over some ideas that doesn't appeal to us, and we want to shoot some ideas down, though it may be something very true or sensible. A scout's job is to see if there are any obstacles in the way. Is there any danger, or is the way clear with no enemies? He cannot say that he does not like enemies and keep it away from reality. He cannot hide any fact. The information he collects is always accurate, even though it may not be very pleasing or convenient. What we need is a scout mindset, which sees things the way they are. But the question that arises is how? The answer to this is emotions. Just like a soldier have emotion of defensiveness, scouts are rooted to the emotion of curiosity. Probabilities are that scouts feel pleasure when they get new information. Above all, scouts are grounded, which means their worth as a person does not define the scout and has no connection with how good or bad he is. There is this quote by Saint Exupery: "If you want to build a ship, don't drum up your men to collect wood and give orders and distribute the work. Instead, teach them to yearn for the vast and endless sea." What we need is not instructions and logic, but have to use them well. What we need to have in ourselves is, I might be wrong. Doesn't mean I'm bad or stupid. When Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times making light bulbs, he became an optimist and said, "I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." We need to change the way. We need to learn to feel proud instead of being ashamed when we notice that we might have been wrong. What I want you to think and ponder about is, what do you yearn for? Do you yearn to protect your own thoughts, or you yearn to see the world as clearly as possible like a scout? Thank you. I'm Harishri Kund, and this was my idea worth sharing.